this is the other thing that kind of messed me up. Their train was delayed by a whole day.
They were coming home from someplace?
Um, no, they left.
They were leaving.
Yeah, they left to go to my niece's graduation,
Ah, I think you may have mentioned that recently.
and I am not going to my niece's graduation, and therefore I'm still here. They are gone, but they were going to miss my birthday,
Yeah.
and now they were here for some of my birthday, which was nice.
Yeah, I saw that Jennifer posted a picture of your lunch onto Facebooks.
Yes. And what a lunch it was, Ben. We'll talk about it as soon as I start this thing.
Freedom, freedom, I can't eat. Well, I don't know what the word is. Freedom, cut me loose. Uh-huh.
Oh, jeez.
Cause I need freedom too. I break chains of myself. Freedom.
What is that?
It's a, I believe it's a Beyonce song, called Freedom. And
Cowboy Carter?
I don't know if it's on that album. But Kamala Harris used it as a campaign song in many places. And there's a band, called Brass Against.
I know about Brass Against.
Brass Against covered Freedom on their first album, and so I quite enjoy it, even if I cannot remember the words.
Wait, do you have Brass Against's first album?
Yeah, you can buy it on iTunes.
Oh man, I should do that because I really like that.
It's a great. I drove back from Boise this last weekend, and that Brass Against album is a great album to just blast in the car as you're doing 80 in the middle of the Oregon nothingness of Eastern Oregon.
You know, Ben, I think that's going to be my my birthday present. One of my birthday presents to myself, and we'll be starting here in just a moment. I have an update problem that I'm taking care of.
I have an update problem as well. Colin Jost and Michael Shea have been there way too long. Give someone else a chance.
They might be my. I did like Amy Poehler and Tina Fey and all that, but I think that they do a really good job.
I actually,
nice
you know what?
Balance.
I don't have a problem with them at all, but I do have a friend who hates them.
Really?
Yeah, and
do I know this person?
You probably do. I'm not going to out him on the show. I'll tell you later. But yeah, every time like he calls me up just randomly, and he's like, "God damn it! Why are Michael Che and Colin Jost still? They're not funny." And I'm like, "You're fighting the battle on your own, man. I'm not going to help you."
I think they do a good enough job. Now here's my question. I've just done the updates. Do I trust that everything is fine, or do I know that when this thing starts, it's going to be? I'm just going to do it, but I know that as soon as I actually start recording,
it's going
to do the "you should restart" thing. It's not doing it right now.
But
sometimes you don't have to restart, Ben.
I updated some plugin software that I use. It's a whole suite of plugins for After Effects, and because it wasn't going to let me use any of the plugins unless I updated the app. Right? There's a whole app that it installs, and oddly enough, updating the app like breaks After Effects, and the fix is to uninstall the app, which comes with its own installer, and then reinstall. So to actually use After Effects, this specific plugin, I had to update the app, which forced me to uninstall it and then reinstall it. And I'm like, yay, technology! Chat GPT, just do that for me.
Ben Lawrence.
Oh, goody.
Ben, the podcast started with you saying, Chat GPT, just do that. Oh, look. System notification helper, Ben. System restart is needed to complete the update process.
Does that mean you have to stop recording and restart your computer?
Isn't that amazing? Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it. I'm not gonna say the project. Okay, just restart it. All right. So those of you who are watching on the live feed, and see, this is the thing: is that when people get into GudeLaurance, they're gonna love the way we don't care. It's going to be a big deal.
We're gonna start
like,
a whole
amazing.
trend of people who don't care. Like
people who are bad at podcasts.
Everybody's got a podcast these days, and probably people have like intro music, ad
a producer,
breaks,
someone who makes sure that you're doing what you're supposed to.
Maybe they have a theme, or they know what they're going to talk about.
They know what they're going to talk about. Yeah,
they make notes. They prepare.
And people are going to say, "Oh, if only we were able to catch that lightning in the bottle of GudeLaurance." But again, this is for our huge fans out there.
Huge fans.
We approach this podcast as we approach any of our performance art pieces.
And life, really.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you just reminded me of something. This is important. This is very important. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Audacity is starting. Ben Lawrence.
Paul Goody, how's it happening?
How's it happening? And have you kept it wrong?
That's a life motto, man. I keep it wrong all the time, sometimes on purpose.
Yeah. And again, just, sometimes we like to give a little peek behind the curtain or a little history lesson for the people who join us, a little bit late. The idea behind Keep It Wrong was very specific. It was a pushback to the Google genius, and we're putting that in quotes, problem, where someone believes that they know something because they Googled it. And our idea was, hey, let's do a podcast where we don't look anything up, and we go off of what we think, and then people correct us. That was the basic premise.
You're also forgetting an instigating factor.
I think I'm glossing over the instigating factor. I know exactly. Now, Ben, here's the question. Do you know the name of the man who was shot?
Do I know
in that incident?
Oh, God,
okay.
No, I do not.
So this is what Ben's getting to. This is a deep lore episode, and I think that's great. There was a guy who was shot by police at a gas station. A police officer, a man who was shot by one frightened police officer, who seemed as surprised as the man that he had been shot. It was all caught on video. I was talking to Ben about it, and I was looking for the clip, and I just couldn't find it. And to me, it seemed like I took a couple of minutes looking. But Ben, how long was it? It was longer.
We
than
can't
that,
go.
Right?
We're not going to go back to try to find that. But it was a good 20 minutes of you on your phone trying to find it.
And Ben was like, "We can't do this again." And I was like, "Wait, let's build the entire show off of it." So for a while, that's what would happen: is we would just talk about it, and then my wife, Jennifer Pratt, also known as Jennifer Fact Checker at the time, would go through
Fact Checker Emeritus at this point.
Right. She would listen to the podcast. She would find out everything that we said that was incorrect and correct us. And then we would read the corrections the next time. A little homage to our one of our favorite sketches, the pre-taped call-in show, kind of.
Yeah, from Mr. Show. You want to do something fun? You want to go back to just a random fact checker email from years ago just to see what we were talking about?
I think that would be great. Let's do one thing first before we do that, because I think that that's a good plan. The other thing that I want to do is, as sometimes happens, people were very enthusiastically talking about the movie 10 Things I Hate About You on the on the independent RPG Discord that I'm a member of.
Really? Like recently?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just this week.
Wow.
And I said, fun fact, my performance art partner, Ben Lawrence, is the Are There Sheep guy. And another fun fact, he said that during some of the TV commercials that aired, instead of Are There Sheep, they said, Are There Goats? And
True
if
fact.
I'm not mistaken, you not only were you not called in to loop it, but you didn't even know that happened until the things aired and you saw it.
Another true fact. And in fact, I went through a period of wondering if that was even me. Like, did I do that? Or did they
Yeah.
bring someone in to dub over me? Because that day it was such a blur. Even
Now,
like the year later when I saw that ad.
now I have a weird question about that. Did you ever talk to anyone in the production about it, or is it just a mystery of why that was decided? Because it seems like maybe it was a censorship thing,
It
since it was.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a mystery to me. Maybe some censor decided sheep. If I said sheep, it would have garnered like a red band trailer. So to keep it green band, they had to change the animal,
Yeah, it's really interesting.
which
So
seems arbitrary, but whatever.
now the other thing that I noticed, and and hey, this is good, by the way. This is a good note. Good note for Ben. Way too late anyway, but I really forgot
On my
how
performance.
like happy and excited your character was with the possibility that there were sheep. That was you can't. That's not in the script. That's something
Yeah, I mean, again,
that you threw on there. So
my memory of that day is fleeting at best. I do remember sitting in that chair saying that line many different times in many different ways, and that's the one they picked. And
we talked about
being yelled at, not like I was in trouble, but because the director was not around
yeah,
us, but hearing his direction coming from us from behind the camera, and like we're
yeah,
in this little alleyway, right? So he's up top yelling down at us to do things differently. So,
yeah.
which is why I thought
Uh,
maybe I said, "Are there goats?" Because he's like, "Just say goats for once," you know. But like, the more I listen to the trailer, the more I'm like, "No, that is definitely not my voice."
yeah, yeah. It's funny how young you sound, also, um, at that time, because I think of you as because I met you shortly after that, right? I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
of
yeah.
you as being you the same way that I think of me being me, even though I'm older now. Uh-huh. And
Uh,
here we get into it. It
Nice
is my
segue.
52nd birthday today.
Happy birthday, Paul Goody.
Thanks. So Ben had mentioned to me before we started recording that Jennifer, the aforementioned Jennifer fact checker, Jennifer Pratt, Instagrammed the lunch that I had today. And Ben, I wanted to wait until we were on the pod to tell you. I went to what's called, um, oh God, is it City 11 Cafe or 11 City Cafe?
I think it's
Uh,
11. If Jennifer wrote it down properly, which I believe she did, it's and
she
if I
did.
remember it correctly, that's the important
Oh,
part. I
that's
believe
right.
it's 11
Yes.
City.
It is 11 City because we thought it was Elven City for a little bit. So 11 City Cafe is super good. As I think I might have told you once before, I'm going around the city trying to find the best Monte Cristo that the city has to offer. The winner prior to this, Ben, was White Palace, which is a diner, which is just fine. I like it. But 11 Cities Monte Cristo is better. The French toast that they use for it is sweet, and when you have a Monte Cristo, you want to have that balance between the sweet and savory. So they did it. Our I don't mind saying we were three people. It was $110.
Welcome to
Which is
Chicago.
well, not just Chicago, but like this stuff, Ben. I can't even describe it. Like this is a chef. This is a chef who has decided he's doing diner food. If
Okay.
that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's
Um,
even for a
everything
diner, it's a
is
little upscale.
everything is amazing.
Yeah.
Like it looks good, it tastes good. So I have three half sandwiches and a whole entire like probably three servings of French fries left over from that 110. Because tons of food
Yeah.
that you get
That'll be
from
a
it.
meal
So
for
it's
another couple days.
so I took off today from work. I'm taking tomorrow off from work as well.
Good.
and I'm just gonna hang out, and I'm going to play. What I've been doing is I've been playing the remaster of Oblivion
Ah.
and listening to podcasts. And as mentioned, I am going to treat myself to Brass Against's album.
I don't know how many they have, but you gotta. And I think when I bought mine, it was the only one available from iTunes. They may have more out. I will actually look at that. But you want the first one with like Guerrilla Radio, Wake Up.
That's what I'm going for. Yeah. So that's the plan. I'm going to do that. I have also purchased for myself the most extravagant purchase that I've allowed myself for a while.
The $110 Monte Cristo.
Oh no! I mean that it's weird. Food doesn't seem extravagant to me. I mean it is, but I don't think of it that way. I bought 2 VIP tickets to the performance DREM, DREM, which is coming to Chicago by Auntie Donna, the Australian sketch comedy group.
Okay.
For me and Jennifer, I am Jennifer's birthday present to me is she is coming with me to see the show.
Betty has been saved.
Yeah. Well, yes.
What does a VIP ticket get you? Do you get to like go backstage and meet them?
There's going to be a meet and greet, and we're going to get to do watch sound check.
Okay.
Which Jennifer's like, oh yay! So we may not be watching sound check.
The last VIP ticket I bought was when Paul Giamatti came to Town Hall Seattle to do his Cryptid podcast. And I don't know if I think I mentioned this to you, but I bought the VIP ticket specifically to remind him that Annex was still a thing.
Yes, you did remember.
Which took him by surprise. His response was...
He was happy.
He was excited that like he probably wouldn't believe that we have been in this space, this very building, longer now than we were in our 4th Avenue home at 1916.
Is there anyone still involved with Annex that was involved with Annex when he was there?
When he was there. I don't know. No, people. Well, Chris Comte, who's a board member.
Yeah. Chris Comte.
I'm sure saw Paul in a show. I don't know how close he was, but like people that you and I know, Susanna Burney was in a show. Burney was in a show with him.
So there was crossover. We were around,
and
there's been a through line.
Yeah, and when at Town Hall when I went to go see him, there was an old Annex company member who I know who like was hanging around but wasn't part of like the meet and greet. Yeah. So I think she and her friends are still friends with Paul. So they were probably gonna go like have drinks afterwards or something.
I want to just
kind of wish I'd
shout out.
That.
Yeah. I hear you. Shout out to Chris Comte, longtime supporter of the theater. A longtime supporter of GudeLaurance. He liked our stuff. And
he's even been a part of our performances sometimes.
He has been in our performances. And when our house got flooded that one time, Chris Comte let me, Jennifer, and Betty stay at his house.
Hey.
For a little bit. Yeah. He's a mensch.
Which house got flooded?
The one in South Park.
Okay.
If you remember, what had happened was houses kept on moving in, right? The plumbing, when they did the plumbing, they just capped the end of one of the pipes, and the pressure just kept on building and building with more houses coming in until it popped like a champagne cork.
Yeah.
And I just walked downstairs one day, and water was flowing down the wall. It was bizarre.
I bet.
So, let's see. The show is going to be on November 3rd, 2025.
Drem?
Yes, Drem. And I love Auntie Donna stuff. I say Auntie Donna or Auntie Donna, depending. They all pronounce it Auntie Donna, but they have accents, right?
Dirty
But
Australian
I have
accents.
an accent. So that's so
Ant.
so yeah, but
I say ant
yeah,
when I in my the where I grew up we say ant.
yeah. There, I saw their
And how I
they
grew
just
up.
released a live video from one of their last live shows, and it was really great. So I'm looking
Are
forward
they
to
just
it.
doing like a North American tour, or are they? Or
I mean, they were doing an Australian tour already,
well, that's
and they just started selling tickets for the North American tour. Oh, this is what I wanted to say. I'm in the second row, middle of the stage.
yeah.
So
What venue is it? Is it a big venue?
it's at the Riviera, which I don't know. It's big enough. You know,
Is it like
it's like the More
the
probably,
more? Okay,
or maybe
the
a little
Paramount.
bit bigger. Yeah, but like that size. Um, and yeah, so also the other reason I want Jennifer there is to mind me,
To mind you, to make you
just to
behave.
just to make sure that I don't do anything stupid.
Like walk on stage and hand one of them your book to
Hey,
sign.
listen, it's my sense of what's a good idea drops when I get into public. So, all right. So Ben, you had an idea that I really like. You were going to pull up one of Jennifer's emails to us.
Oh yeah, maybe and talk about the corrections that she's sending in, and to see if
Yeah,
we remember what we were talking about.
yeah. We're going to reconstruct what the podcast was from this email,
This is an
which
easy.
I think is wonderful.
Oh, so this is from February 20th, 2020. So
Wow,
just barely pre-pandemic.
almost. Wait, 2020.
Yeah.
So it's been 5 years since the
Over
pandemic.
over yeah, it's been over 5 the pandemic. I officially kind of started early mid-March of 2020. Like that's when the
Wow.
US shut down, right?
I I did I say no? I didn't. Okay, it's been 5 years since the pandemic was over, which is not in any way, shape, or form what
So
I meant or how I feel.
there's an easy 5. Number 1, the director of Too Old to Die Young is Nicholas Winding Refn.
Oh yeah, Nicholas Winding Refn, who, by the way, did the series Copenhagen Cowboy, which
Uh,
spoilers for Copenhagen Cowboy.
yeah.
Um, there's this great thing where there's this sort of smaller woman who's the main character and supposed to be psychic or whatever. And so that's weird.
Paul's if for you listening on the podcast, Paul and I both noticed that with the white screen on me, it turns me mostly blue. But then when I bring this blue mug between me and the screen, it turns me mostly reddish or pinkish.
It's very odd. Interesting. Color correction.
Yeah, the auto color balancing on this camera is weird. Anyway,
So so the idea is that and then there's a thing where she's getting chased by this guy and you're like, oh no, he's going to hurt her, and that's the thing, is that you fear for her safety a lot.
yeah.
And then it turns out that, and they do it in a really wonderful way. Like that scene where Antonio Banderas is listening to the Vikings talk, and then eventually the Vikings start speaking English with an accent, and then eventually he hears them like normal. Do you remember that scene in the 13th Warrior?
I never saw the 13th Warrior.
Oh, okay. Well, that happens in 13th Warrior.
Okay.
And it's good. It's a great little, one of my favorite little cinema tricks that they do there. The showing him learning their language in an
Yeah.
interesting way. And then you get this one sort of the same way, where you start realizing that she's not only, good at escaping this guy and all that, she can actually fight too. And then the rest of the movie is about her being a really badass fighter. It's wonderful.
What was the name? Copenhagen what?
Copenhagen Cowboy. He also did like Only God Forgives, and Drive. He did Drive. You remember Drive?
I
The film
I
Drive?
remember it being a film. I never saw it.
He directed that one too.
All right. Anyway, that was number one. Number two. So that
Spoilers for Drive. It's a movie about Ryan Gosling being a robot.
that
And
was
I'm kidding about him being a robot, but there's a monologue that this guy gives about how Ryan Gosling showed up that makes it seem like maybe he's a robot.
he's a replicant.
Yeah.
So that was something.
Oh, he is. Oh, interesting.
So that must have been something you were talking about because I have never seen Too Old to Die Young.
Yeah.
This is.
I
Also,
think I was talking about how I wasn't like as thrilled with Too Old to Die Young as some of his other work.
This is also something that you were talking about. Oh, let's see if you could guess what it is. So she said, I'm not going to give you the answer, but she says,
Right.
The title of Paul's palette cleanser is...
Nope.
Terry Jones' Great Map Mystery.
Terry Jones.
Terry
Great
Jones
Map
from
Mystery. Yeah.
Monty Python, I'm assuming. And it's your palette cleanser?
Yeah.
Is it something that you would like watch at the end of the day after watching like a movie or a TV show or something?
Ben, I can honestly tell you that I don't know what that is.
Well, if we want to find out,
I'll
go
have
back
to-
to episode 208.
I'll have to rediscover it because I'm sure that what it is that I watched something that I didn't like. Oh, maybe it's possible that we were okay. So Too Old to Die Young, lots of bad stuff happens in it. Maybe I watched Terry Jones' Great Map Mystery to make myself feel better afterwards.
Perhaps is it like a travel log or something?
I've never been, and I know
you don't
that
even
I have,
remember it.
but I don't remember it at all. Terry Jones' Great Map Mystery. Wow, that is, yeah, I don't know.
It sounds like
Interesting.
Michael Palin had his travel show. This sounds like another like a Terry Jones. Like, let me tell you about why maps are the way they are,
Yeah.
or why country boundaries are the way they are.
Is Terry Jones dead now?
Yeah, he passed away a few years ago.
Yeah, because I know that he had like an aphasia kind of thing.
Yeah, really bad too. There's a really sad moment where he was given like a lifetime achievement award at some award show, and he came out with his son, and like his son is helping him walk, and he tries to speak into the microphone, and all he can do is just make some like noises. So his son kind of like has to say, my father, really appreciates all of you and thank you so much, and then walks him off.
Yeah, it's funny. I grew into sort of a Terry Jones body type.
All you gotta do is just sit naked at your piano, and you'll go the full Jones.
Look, this is one of those things where I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm like, hey, I look like the naked piano guy. And I'm like, I know who that guy is, Terry Jones.
We must have gotten this one wrong. Bruce Lee, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's fight was in Game of Death.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I know that Bruce Lee and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar get into a fight.
Yeah.
But I think I didn't remember what it was in.
Which one it was.
I think I might have said Enter the Dragon.
Yeah.
Which it wasn't. It was Game of Death.
Yeah, I mean, Enter the Dragon, is that not Bruce Lee's like most well-known film?
I think it is. Yeah.
I used music from The Big Boss, like his first film, in a Panel Jumper episode, and YouTube flagged it. YouTube's like, "No, we got you." And I'm like, "Yeah."
Do you remember what one of my favorite parts about Game of Death is with the fight between him and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
The tracksuits?
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar kicks him in the chest, and just the size of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's foot on Bruce Lee's chest is amazing. Also, can we just talk again about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and how cool he is? Not just he's not just a basketball player, as we all know. He is also an author, and does a whole bunch of really interesting stuff. Especially, I think he did a whole thing about he does a Sherlock Holmes's brother, I want to say.
What is that? A Netflix show?
Like he had, there's a comic book adaptation of it that I have, but I think he wrote a
Ah!
novel and they adapted it from a comic book
All right, so number
into a
four.
comic book.
Number four, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's comic book is called Mycroft Holmes and the Apocalypse Handbook.
There you go.
So, you had that exact train of thought 5
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I get a little bit of a special interest here and there.
My mom had this poster when I was a kid that was up in the bathroom. It was a grid of like teddy bear characters, and they were all bear puns of celebrity names. And so the one teddy bear that was holding a basketball was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And
Nice.
so every time I hear Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's name, I think of that stupid poster that was in the bathroom as a child growing up.
He's also, kind of on the right side of like philosophy and how to treat people and stuff, if I remember correctly. Usually a very very thoughtful guy when it comes to that sort of thing.
And finally, number 5, There's a Sucker Born Every Minute is attributed to P.T. Barnum, although there isn't any proof he actually said it. It shows up in print, attributed to professional poker players in 1876, thus it was said by someone well over 100 years ago.
Nice.
At this point,
Yeah.
about 150.
So let me just take this time to once again share my appreciation for the work that Jennifer went through to fact check the podcast. The podcast was better for it, I think, at the time when that stuff was going on. It added a little bit of history and, dare I say, legitimacy to the things that we say.
We at least, couldn't rest on our ignorance and move forward. We had to address the things that we got wrong.
Yes. Which I still enjoy that idea.
Now there's probably some sort of plug-in you can put on your podcast that'll call out all the times you got something wrong.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. I'm kidding. Oh my gosh. So yeah, AI, huh? That's the thing. Your friend and mine, Stephen McCandless, and you and I are in a little bit of a text thread regarding some stuff that's been happening.
I'll be honest, I have not read the paragraphs that Stephen has sent. I haven't had time to sit down and absorb all that yet.
And the one thing that I can tell you is that one of the last things that he posted was this guy who's kind of speculating stuff.
Yeah.
He posts, and this is the thing about Stephen that I think is important for people to realize when they talk to him about this kind of stuff. A podcast for people hearing stuff from Stephen. Stephen will share things, but him sharing them doesn't necessarily mean that he endorses them. Case in point, there's that guy who he posted, and then right under that he posted something else similar. The first part was a guy was posting saying something happened with OpenAI that made everybody freak out or something like that, right? And this guy's listening to this stuff. The second thing he posted was somebody who was fact-checking that other guy's post.
Yeah.
Going, there's nothing to say that these three people actually exist, that sort of thing. So grain of salt. But the thing that he and I were talking about is a real thing, and that's that there's kind of a time compression element to simulations. And we're talking about real simulations, not like a hypothetical simulation. But basically the idea is this. You can take a robot and train the robot in simulated space. And then the robot will actually perform well in real space. Basically, the equivalent of that Neo thing where he learns kung fu, from getting a download. It's the same sort of thing, but you're not downloading information into the robot. You're actually putting the robot through its paces, if you will. But
training it per
Right.
se.
Similar to Groundhog Day, actually. You know how Bill Murray gets really good at stuff
Right.
by doing it
Over and over.
over and over again. Same sort of thing. There's this robot, and it's doing the same thing over and over and over again, like thousands of times.
Yeah.
But it's doing it in, like, they say something like, you compress 2 years worth of study into a week or something like that. Like some amazing time dilation sort of thing.
And when you say robot, what is this robot like? Is it doing some sort of like what is it training to do that it is getting better at?
Well, one of the videos that he shared is of a robot dancing.
Okay. So it is some sort of physical activity.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
And not some sort of like computational activity.
No, but in the same way, I mean, when you're talking about these AI things, they could learn, like, the one, and again, this is one of those cases where having Jennifer look it up would be great. But there is a Go artificial intelligence, Go playing artificial intelligence that beat a grandmaster, right? And the way that it beat the grandmaster was they taught it how to play Go, right? Human beings came in and said, "This is how you play," and they observed its games and said, "Okay, well, you made a mistake here. You should do it better." They taught it that way. There's a second Go AI, and all they said was, "These are the rules for Go. Now play yourself." And it just played itself for congratulations.
You just played yourself.
Yeah. Another one. So the idea is that it, or she, no,
They.
the artificial, they. So the artificial intelligence, however, goes through, plays back and forth over and over without getting any input from humans. It's just, I'm going to play. And that AI beat the AI that humans trained. That's the basic idea.
Gotcha.
So this isn't new. They've been doing this in the past, but it's getting more and more sophisticated, of the AI going through and learning from itself faster than it would take a human to train it. Humans are the bottleneck because we exist in real time, whereas these things can go faster.
In meat space.
Mm-hmm. Meat space. Hey, that's something. MEET space. Meat space. It would be a place where humans actually get together and work with humans. No AI allowed.
Yep.
And they just, like...
We work in meat space.
I still think it is going to happen that...
it's cold.
That AI might use humans in a... kind of like in a way that royal families would sometimes take in people that weren't from royal families, just so that the bloodlines can get a little bit less
diverse, a little bit
more
diverse.
diverse.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That they just bring in a person to be stupid around them, so that they go, "Oh, look at that! That's
playthings, pets."
Yeah.
You know,
we'll make great pets. Yeah.
Porno for Pyros thought there was going to be aliens, but no, it's going to be robots.
No, we're going to make our own. I was going to say masters, and this is funny. I was going to say masters, and then I'm like, they're getting away from that. So you say prime bedroom instead of master bedroom, that kind of thing, to get away from the whole thing. But in this case, we would be making our. I mean, you can use the term master if you're talking about you're creating an overlord that is going to remove your autonomy. That would be the correct use of the word.
Because it is not a substitute for another. Well, it also, like, it's not a thing that has racist roots. It is a direct derivative of it.
Yeah. So here's the one thing I will say. I feel as though I will be able to handle robots better than a lot of other people I know. There are some people who are creeped out by them, who, like, feel unnerved, etc. I think I will be okay. with it.
Because you know how to talk to machines?
I'm comfortable around them. I'm comfortable around AI too. You know, I do get. I think it's because, and I could be wrong about this, but I think it's because I believe we've had this conversation before. Inanimate objects, I feel for them sometimes. Like this bag of coconut slices, right? I might feel guilty that I haven't eaten any of them, and I will think to myself, the bag of coconut slices is sad because I'm not eating any coconut slices. Like that's something that I will have in my head. And I know exactly where it came from. It was when I was a kid. My parents would say, "Look at all the peas on your plate still. They're sad and they want to go into your tummy to be with all the other peas that you've already eaten."
How come you're keeping them from their family?
I would say, but those peas are here, so they could just be friends on my plate instead. Maybe they like being on my plate, and they're like, "Oh no, they want to be with the other. All the other peas are having a lot of fun," and like, they instilled this in me, I think, a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Um, let's see. I've been watching a lot of Reddit videos lately. Got back on Reddit, watching a lot of videos. A lot
Start
of
the
things.
clock.
Yeah, a lot of things from. I think I might have talked about this before that I've already done this, but the CTA, Chicago Transit Authority subreddit, has a lot of people posting like images and videos of people getting harassed on the trains and
Fear
stuff.
mongering.
And it's really interesting. There's one, right, where there's a guy who's standing over another guy, and the guy is like sitting down, and the guy finally like gets up and knees the other guy in the crotch and tries to like get past the other guy, and then says, "Anybody help?" Because the other guy isn't letting him pass.
Yeah.
And
everybody else in the car is just minding their own business, right? Except for the person filming.
Exactly. Yes. And I remembered. Okay, so I was on the 7, I think. Does the 7 go from the International District to Capitol Hill?
I have no idea.
Well, I was on some bus.
From the International District to Capitol Hill.
But there was a guy who sat down next to me and wouldn't let me leave. And it was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But
then it was your stop and you tried to get out, but he wouldn't get up from his seat.
Well, it was this whole thing. Like I was at the time, you know, Jennifer has done a lot of work on me. But at the time I was a little like naive, I guess, or easily controlled or something, where he was like, "Here, hold this," and he handed me a 40, and I was like, "Okay." And I'm just a guy, right? He doesn't know me. I'm just somebody.
Yeah.
And then he goes, "Okay, now give it back to me." "All right, now hold my bag." And he like basically got me to do all this stuff, which a normal person would have been like, "No."
Yeah.
You know, and then he was like, "Okay, you know, let's get on this bus." It was the bus that I was waiting for anyway, so that wasn't a big deal.
Oh, that was before you got on the bus.
Yeah, that was before I got on the bus. And then when I got on the bus, I sat down, and then he sat down on the outside of me, and he wasn't going to let me leave. And finally, I just got up because I could, right?
Right.
I just wasn't thinking about it. So in this, it seemed like maybe a similar thing was happening to this guy, but he actually fought with the guy, and so I didn't fight with the guy. I just like left.
He didn't keep you from leaving, though. Like
he tried. He, you know, put his arms like this.
Yeah.
You know, and I had to like crawl over his arms, and he was like grabbing at me and stuff.
What?
But yeah, it was crazy, right? Anyway, that was in Seattle, right? And,
yeah.
But guess how many times that happened to me in the 10 years I was in Seattle? Once.
Once, yeah.
Right? But if someone had filmed it, they would have been like, "Look what happens on buses in
A
Seattle."
daily occurrence in Seattle.
Well, and I mentioned this before. I think I might have even mentioned it on this very podcast. The first day I got to Seattle, and the first time I ever rode the bus, a guy peed. He was standing. He was standing up on the bus, and he peed, and like shook out his leg
Oh,
from the pee that was like. So he peed his pants.
Okay, yeah.
And shook out his leg. He didn't like whip it out and pee. He peed his pants. All
right. Not that makes it any better, but that's like I can see that being an accident as opposed to a malicious, action.
And so, I was like, oh man, is this what's going to happen? And that was the only time that I ever saw anyone pee on the bus. Again, 10 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Is this what the big city's like?
So the impression that I get, Okay, so but the impression that I get is that this is one of those same things. Like this guy, got into the situation that he was in. Somebody else is filming. It gets posted. All of a sudden, people point to it and say, this is happening. But I wanted to say that there's another thing for contrast, right? So, do you still take the bus ever?
I mostly take trains if I need to ride public transportation.
Oh yeah,
but I have.
There are more trains.
Every once in a while, I do get on a bus. Yes.
Well, you probably see this on trains as well. I forgot that Seattle has a much more expanded train system than when I was there. So there's a guy who's sitting down, and he's got his bag next to him.
Yeah.
And there's another guy who wants to sit down. Now, what this guy does, the guy who wants to sit down, is he tries to grab the other guy's bag and move it.
You're talking about something that you actually saw? Or
it's a video.
It's a video.
So the guy tries to grab this other guy's bag. Somebody else is filming. And the guy is like,
Why are they filming?
Well, different guy. So there's someone filming, two other people having an interaction.
No, but I'm like, okay, so the person filming them starts filming after the interaction starts. They weren't just filming some random dude on the bus and suddenly somebody.
No. There's something already happening.
Yeah.
The guy tries to sit down, right? The one guy tries to sit down. The other guy's bag is there, so he can't sit down. So he tries to move the bag. And all these people are writing about this interaction, going, they should kick that guy off the bus. Yeah, he's causing, he threatened that other guy. And the guy that they're talking about is the guy whose bag was sitting next to him.
Yeah.
Like they all think, how dare he? And Jennifer and I talked about it because sometimes I'm like, hey, Jennifer, how do normal humans think about this thing that we're and our thought was both this. It's rude to have your bag next to you and not let someone else sit down.
Yeah.
It is not cause to get kicked off of a bus, though. Also, if somebody tries to touch your bag and you use the F word and tell them to get lost, that isn't...
It sounds like everybody in this situation was behaving poorly.
That's what I was going to say, but I don't think I would say... It's because some people are like, the bus driver should stop the bus until that other guy gets off. No! The bus driver should never stop the bus.
Unless it's your stop.
The bus driver should... Oh, no, the bus driver should never stop, Ben. If the
Pop
bus
quiz, hot shot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I like that you and I... See, Ben, this is exactly right. This is another thing. I was interested for my birthday. One of the things I was maybe going to do was go to, like, Betty's improv class has drop-in classes where you can go in and do improv stuff. and the drop-in classes are on Thursdays at 5 o'clock. And I was like, well, no, I will not be doing that. And I realized that, Ben, what is this if not a drop-in improv class, honestly?
For an audience of no one. Except a
For
couple
an audience
people.
of, except for a couple people.
People listen after the fact. Like nobody watches on the live stream anymore. Not even drunk. We haven't seen drunk in a long time.
Yeah. But I do think, I really do think, and I will stand by this, 100 years from now, people are going to love this. Someone's going to find it and they're going to be like, whoa, a couple 100 years from now, something like that. It's going to be crazy.
There's going to be some long forgotten but still operational server room in a bunker somewhere.
Yeah.
Where all this we thought pre-pandemic was the before times. This is in the actual after times.
Have you heard about GudeLaurancing? It's this great thing where people, when they're doing their job, listen to these two guys talk, and it puts their brain in such a state that it's almost like they're drunk.
And they have years of content. They were doing it for like 20 years.
I'm telling you, Ben, what is going to happen is somewhere in the future, everybody's going to have it's a religion. You're either the Goody or the Lawrence,
and they're constantly at war.
You have the two different.
This is going to blow everybody's mind when they see the actual source material.
Yeah, they actually decode the live stream, and then they're like, oh, okay, never mind.
We got the whole thing wrong.
We got the whole thing wrong. Actually, we
kept it.
I mean, yeah. I still watch it.
We got the whole thing wrong, so we should keep it that way.
So, yeah, that's another thing. Or aliens, Ben. There is also the chance that aliens will be watching this and being like, "This is what humans are." There's oh my gosh, Ben, wait a second. Oh no, in the live stream we're right next to each other. Right? The idea of the demon on your shoulder whispering, if they see my view, there's a small Paul next to you saying,
am I going the right way? I'm whispering to Paul. Whispering to Paul.
Well, but I'm big on it. I'm small and you're.
Oh, yeah. I'm big on it. Okay, I got you.
I like it when you're bigger than when I'm bigger. Things have changed, Ben. Oh yeah, there we go. I don't know what's happening. Are you trying to make it?
I'm trying to find your box.
Oh, okay.
Where's your
box?
What
about this? What about?
No. I turned that off. Every time.
Oh, okay.
Every time I open up Zoom now, there pops up a little dialogue says "Turn on reactions," and there's a little X in the corner. But the X doesn't work. The X doesn't close that dialog box. You actually have to click the icon in the toolbar.
If we were still doing, if Spin the Bottle still existed, and if we were doing Spin the Bottle, we would absolutely have a GudeLaurance video thing where it's someone delivering bad news to the president or someone delivering a ransom note or something, and those are on.
You have one day to.
We're gonna, Hey. Oh man, David Lynch is dead. That's still too bad. But, and the reason it's too bad is I keep on thinking I was waiting for his next thing. Oh, what's his next thing gonna be? Now there is no next thing.
Yeah. It's
just still really weird. Okay, here's a thought I had the other day. We might have even talked about this on the podcast before. Do you think? Okay, because there's a new
Pope.
A new Harry Potter TV series coming out.
Yeah.
And people are like, we talked about that for a little bit.
Like John Lithgow's getting a lot of hate for some reason for playing Dumbledore.
Oh yeah. The reason he's getting hate is just because people don't like J.K. Rowling. Which, I understand. I think we talked about this last time, about I didn't realize that there's a Supreme Court in Great Britain also.
Yeah.
And so, she was one might say even ghoulishly celebrating a Supreme Court win about trans women aren't women and that whole thing.
I'm
And
gonna
so
I'm gonna swear she has no, I'm not gonna swear, but she has FU money, so she can do whatever she does say whatever she wants.
so the idea is that she says that,
She's not
right?
saying the right thing, so
And then John Lithgow, when asked about it, was like, that he doesn't really pay attention to it or something like that.
yeah.
That's why people are mad at John Lithgow. I believe that's what
Yeah,
happened.
I mean, this was bound to happen because that she is toxic, right? And so
Uh-huh.
I'm actually surprised that this Harry Potter TV show is moving forward.
Well, yeah, I mean the video game that came out, there's a big thing where they distanced themselves from her like a lot. Like she had nothing to do with this
She's the big boss at the
production.
end. You can kill her.
Uh, but this is what I was going to
You
ask
don't
though.
kill her. You put her in prison. Whatever.
Do you think we're ever going to see a remake of A New Hope?
A remake?
Like, yeah, like one with different actors, a different
Yeah,
director.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe. I don't. Disney wouldn't allow it unless Disney did it.
Well, that's what I mean, right? Disney would have to do it, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't they?
Unless they at some point sell off their Star Wars properties, which
I mean, they could. You never know, but yeah, because I don't think I. This is how I think about it, right? Disney really sets what copyright is in a lot of ways, right? They drive it a little bit. So you have the Lion King, right? And then you have the live action Lion King. So is there a chance, that Disney will do something like that in reverse? Like I mean, what they do with Star Wars is they have new versions of, like, here's the new thing that's set in the same universe. That's kind
right.
of how they work it.
Yeah.
So that's why I was wondering, is the New Hope is I'm sorry, is A New
A
Hope
New Hope.
kind of gospel that it won't ever be touched because I mean it'll be
It's been touched
remastered.
so
It'll
much.
be
Yeah.
exactly. Like would they ever do it with entirely new actors? Now, was it you, Ben, who thought that eventually they're going to redo Solo with a young Harrison Ford?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's getting closer and closer to reality. But they're not going to put Billy D. Williams in the Lando role. They're going to actually put Donald Glover in Empire over Billy D.
That is interesting. Like, who wins for who gets to be in a thing?
Yeah, but no,
They reshoot all of Atlanta with a young Billy D. Williams.
I honestly believe that sometime I would have said 5 years ago. I would have said within the next 5 years, but like the goalposts have moved.
Have you seen Atlanta yet, by the way, Ben?
Oh yeah, I finished it.
Okay. So, spoilers for Atlanta. Have we talked about the one episode where
Brian Tyree Henry's on his farm.
we have talked about that a lot.
Yeah.
Now that I think about
He
it.
gets that delivery of the
Oh, just the
cast iron
delivery
pan.
of the cast iron
Yeah.
pan, Ben, is such great writing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm sorry. I think about it every once in a while.
I gotta
It's
go
like-
back and rewatch that episode. I don't need to see the whole thing again, but like that is a really great episode. And it's in the Doctor Who universe, they would have called that a Doctor Light episode because like Donald Glover is in it. But they did a lot of those in the final season just because of like availability. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I was talking to who was I talking to? I was talking to a friend of mine recently about Andy, my friend Andy, friend of the podcast, Andy.
Yeah.
I think it was on one time because he hadn't seen it, and because he was going to get rid of Hulu, and I said, and I told him if you have to watch one thing and you can't watch anything else, that he should watch the standalone thing about the Goofy movie. Do you remember that one? It was a documentary about the making of the Goofy movie
Yeah,
in that alternate universe thing.
Yeah.
I was like, because you can watch that and enjoy it without knowing any of the characters and everything.
I sometimes when I would turn on Atlanta and watch the latest episode, I would be wondering if I was even watching the right show.
Yeah, that I mean, I found that
I think that was Donald Glover's whole plan.
I mean, Donald Glover and his brother. Oh, what's his brother's name? I don't know what his
Steven.
brother's name is. Steven. Uh, just I really wish they would have gotten to do their animated Deadpool thing. I think that would have been good.
I didn't realize that was on the table.
It got pretty far. It was one of those things where I don't know what happened.
Scripting?
But yeah, like I feel as though I don't think it ever got animated, but I think that it got very close. I wish I knew more. I don't.
Well, if you
And I'm
know
not
what
afraid
happened
to
to
say it.
Donald Stephen Glover's animated Deadpool show, tell us at Ben's email at yahoo.com at gmail.com.
Yes.
That still
Which,
exists.
and
Our
I
phone
still-
number no longer exists, but our email still does.
I wonder who has that number and if they ever do get calls.
I was talking about that to someone recently about how, like, at one point I let our Google number lapse, and then for some reason I needed a phone number. I can't remember what it was for. I don't think it was for the show, but I turned it back on because I needed to use a phone number that wasn't mine for something, and I wish I could remember what it was. So I went back and I reclaimed that number. In the intervening time between letting it lapse and needing it again, Google didn't give it to someone else. So I'm wondering how they decide to cycle through those numbers.
Yeah, and imagine if we got it again, but somebody else did take it. In between that time, they only took it for like two days or whatever.
I don't even.
But now we get calls for Maurice.
Maurice isn't here, but do you want to speak with his brother?
I'm sorry. Is this a Back to the Future thing?
No. It's not.
Who is Maurice's brother? Okay. Oh, okay. I see what you mean. This is your brother, Maurice. You know that new sound you were looking for.
Listen to this.
And then there's nothing.
Marvin was his brother, but
Marvin, that's right. Crazy old Maurice, Beauty and the Beast. Crazy old Maurice, huh? Says Gaston.
You know what? I think I've seen the animated Beauty and the Beast once.
Huh.
I think I've seen it once. I think I saw it fairly within the last, during the pandemic. I think I watched it with someone during the pandemic because I said I'd never seen it, and they were like, "What? You need to watch this." I'm like, "All right, I'll watch it."
Yeah. I just availed myself of the City of Chicago's yard waste pickup. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I just got a text from my dad also saying, I heard that there were some really bad storms out in Chicago. Were you affected? And so I'm now wondering if I podcasted through a really bad storm. And maybe my yard waste is now strewn all over
your dad
the
just sent you that text?
a little while ago. And this is, of course, George, who lives in Southern Illinois.
Right.
Not Kevin, who lives in Chicago. Because him texting me saying, I hear Chicago's got some bad weather, were you affected, would be weird. Oh, that was another thing. I got birthday greetings from a couple of people. And so those relatives, both my adopted family and a biological dad, Allegra, who I think you've met before.
Who's Allegra?
Allegra is a woman who I dated briefly who lived in San Francisco, who came down one time to visit, and at Susanna Anderson and John DeShazo's house.
Okay.
When we were watching fireworks, Jennifer kept on yelling at her to shut up. which I thought was interesting.
I don't remember.
Anyway, they
that.
like each other now. All right, and I mean, we hardly ever talk in real life. It's just every once in a while she'll send us a postcard or something. And then my friend
have met her.
Jeff just sent me some text too. So I've been getting birthday texts while I'm talking to you.
So
and see things
so you're reading these birthday messages over my face is what you're telling me.
I'm reading them like snap. I am not looking at any of them. They'll pop up and I'll read however much of it I can before it disappears. And not on purpose either. My brain just instantly.
I've actually turned off the feature where the notification banner tells you what is said.
Really?
All my notifications say like Paul Goody text message. Yeah.
It just says the word text message.
I have to actually go through and open up the app and click on your text to read what it says.
Oh man, that would drive me nuts.
Well, what drives you more nuts is when somebody's looking at your phone and you get a text and it says something that you don't want that person to read.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I have any sort of relationships where that would happen these days.
Nothing scandalous, but like I did have an incident where I'm like, oh, you probably shouldn't have, read that small little missive that other person sent me.
Hey, Ben, have you murdered that guy yet?
I got the second half of your money in the trunk of my car here.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of which,
it's murdering time.
Another suggestion for murder, ending a GudeLaurance podcast. No, but it is the end of the podcast, Ben. I cherish our friendship and thank you for talking to me once again for 1 hour on the GudeLaurance podcast.
Happy birthday, Paul Goody.
Thank you, Ben, and I will see you
50 seconds
next
week.
Next week
on the GudeLaurance podcast.
Until then, keep it wrong.
The balcony is closed.
What's
so
happening?
That's not ours.
Save us the